Hello and welcome to number 15 of MLM 101 Mentoring, Create a Money-Making Machine. This is Sandi Burgess. We're going to get right into this. This is more of a generic overview of how you really build a great business that produces money for you, big time, deep, wide, all of those good terms that you've heard all of these years in network marketing. So let's get right into it. Basic network marketing terms, what we call the MLM lingo. The bonus volume is values used to calculate the overrides. They're often different than the volume that is the actual price of the product. So always check what your bonus volume is, because that is where you calculate any of the money you're going to make. Bonus pools are special funds that are set aside to share with producers, top producers, and you can look again at the company, what's required, and go for that. That's added on to what you make in your compensation plan. Compression is really someone quits and the downline rolls up or moves up to fill that void. That is called compression. Depth or levels in your organization. You'll hear us talk about building depth and driving legs. Downline are all the people in your organization. A level is a vertical position of a distributor in an organization, as in first level, second level, third level. And width is the number of distributors, frontline or personally sponsored. We'll say go wide and then go deep. If you look over here at this graphic I'm circling, this would be you in gold, your first level, and then the second level there. That's how the levels are calculated. We'll be talking about each one of those. Here's an ideal organizational growth scenario where you see your first level, second level, third level, fourth level, fifth, sixth, seventh, eighth. And you see it go down and get bigger and bigger as it grows down line. That's why it's important to learn how to not only go wide to sponsor, but to build deep and anchor legs. And we're going to talk about each one of those terms. Your goal might be to earn $10,000 a month, and the ideal situation is go for five on the first level that you sponsor, teaching them each to bring in five, which is 25, teaching the 25 to bring in five, that's 125. On the fourth level, the 125 bring in five, that's 625. The fifth level, if you times 5 by 625, it's 3,125. So the totals are 3,905 times $5, say that that's what you're going to earn per person on average, then that's $19,025. So that's $10,000 a month goal plus. We'll get into more depth on that. The key is to sponsor, teach, and help. You help those that you sponsor. Now this is a tongue twister. Then you teach those you sponsor to help those they sponsor, and teach those they sponsor to help those they sponsor to sponsor. Now try saying that quickly. But we're going to go into each one of these and how that is done. In other words, here you are at the top and you're going to sponsor those two, but you're going to help and them sponsor their two, but you're going to absolutely teach them how to help these four sponsor each two there so that you get the downline depth going in your organization. The ABCs of duplication are you sponsor A. I always like to refer to the first level as A, like Alice if I'm doing a scenario. B is sponsored by A, so that's B, or Bob. So Alice sponsors Bob. A has been taught to help B. Alice is going to be taught to help Bob sponsor C or Calvin. Okay, see how that scenario works? That's the ABCs, etc. I might even have D, David there, which would be your fourth level, but that's the goal here, is the understanding that the extra effort to help and teach versus just sponsor equals big money for you. How do you do this help? Well, the first is that three-way call to launch with their prospects. You call that first 10 with them, get them out the gate making money to engage them quickly in income generating activity. It validates their involvement with the business, with you, and the lifestyle and opportunity that is possible with this amazing business. So you've got to also do the 2-on-1 appointments. Okay, field training where you observe and you learn. You introduce that sponsor, you listen, you watch what they're doing, how they're doing it, and you learn to duplicate that action. Okay, so those 2-on-1s and 3-way calls are absolutely the core of making money in network marketing. If you don't do those things, you will not duplicate what you're doing. You work alone, you'll be alone in the business. Launch events with your sponsor. This is always fun. In-home meetings, mixers. I like to call those in-home events mixers. Gatherings are great place to gather people together, whether it's a barbecue or whatever it is, to present the business. It doesn't have to always be a formal meeting. Just team it up with people in your area. I talked to you in one of the sessions about a backyard buddy. Make sure you do those things so that you have a little bit of synergy going on in your area to build a great team. Do help and teach. Let's take a closer look. What happens when you sponsor and teach 2? When you sponsor and teach 3 or 5. So we're going to look closely at that. If you sponsor 2 people and teach them to sponsor 2, etc., you will have 2 on that first level, 4 on the second level, 8 on the third level, 16 on the fourth level, 32 on that 5th level, with a total of 62 in your organization. Okay, 62 is get a good starting place, but it's not where you want to be. If you just add 1 more person and teach people to do the same, you sponsor 3, you help them, your 3 bring in 3, that's 9. The 3rd level, you help the 9 bring in 3, that's 27. You help the 27 bring in 3, that is 81. And the 5th level, 243, or a total of 363 in the organization. That's a little bit better. If you, however, shoot for that goal of 5, go for 5, high 5. First level will have 5 on it. You teach that 5 to bring in 5, that's 25 on the second level. You teach that 25 to bring in 5, that's 125 on that 3rd level. You teach that 125 to bring in 5, that's 625 on the 4th level. And the 5th level, if the 625 do their 5, that's 3,125, or your organization will equal $3,905. Now we're doing a scenario on making sure these 5 are duplicating. Now maybe you sponsored 10 to get 5, or maybe you sponsored 20 to get 5. It doesn't matter. You're trying to get those 5 who get 5, who get 5, who get 5 all the way down. Look what happens again on that first level. You have 2, then 4, 8, 16, and 32. On the second, if you sponsor 2. If you sponsor 3, you'll have 3, 9, 27, 81, 243. If you sponsor 5, 5, 25, 125, 625, 325. I sound like an auctioneer here, but look at the difference on the bottom, okay, of enrollees. You'll have, if you sponsor 2, 62. If you have 3, it jumps to 363, but look what happens when you sponsor 5. 395. This is what 3,905. This is what I call multi-level magic, guys, because it does this. It's happened to us many, many times. So many people get in the business and they think, oh, I want 3,905 people in my organization. I've got to sponsor that many people. No, no, no. You sponsor those 5, teach and help those sponsored 5, etc., and you will have an organization of 3,905. Hopefully, you're having a paradigm shift here so you understand this. What is the real difference from you sponsoring 2 to grow in that organization over 3,905 people? It's really just 2 more people that you sponsor, and you teach your 2 plus the 3, so that's 5, to do the same thing. Okay, so look again. Level 1, level 2, level 3, level 4, level 5. There's your 2s, your 3s, and your 5s, or the total 62, or 363, or 3,905. Which one do you want your organization to look like? Then go for 5. That's a high 5 all around. Okay, we go back to that scenario of wanting that 10,000 plus a month. 5 on the first level, 25 second level, third level 125, fourth level 625, fifth level 3,125 for a total of 3,905. Times that by just $5 that you make on each one of those people every month, especially if they're on auto ship. Over 10,000, it goes to $19,025. Okay, so what I want you in essence to understand, it is not about going out and sponsor 3,125 people. It's about sponsoring 5 great people, teaching, helping them each sponsor 5, and bring that down to a point where your organization has depth and width. Okay, you always go wide in this business and you anchor deep, and then you work with those who work. So let's look at that width. When you go wide, you do that right off the bat. I mean, you absolutely go wide with sponsoring your people. Once you've sponsored them, you're going to anchor them in so that you can start working the depth. So let's look at that for a second. How is it done? You've got to look who's doing the 3-way calls, the 2-on-1 field trainings, launch meetings, and who's sponsoring. That's where you're going to put your effort. With 20/20 vision in network marketing, I've always taught this, sponsor 20. You got to absolutely put all 20 on a 2 weeks intensive care. That means that you're going to call them every day. You're going to communicate with them. You're going to get reports from them to see how they're doing, because those first 2 weeks are so critical to their success. You're going to anchor the legs by looking where to work. Okay. And that happens when you're really aware of who's doing what and who's calling you. All right. So you're going to repeat that once you've done your 20, put them all on intensive care, and then anchor the legs. Let's look at anchoring real quickly here. First of all, you got to focus on helping and anchoring by engaging your sponsor right out the gate. There's a picture of you and the scenario with your sponsor above. You got to blitz it. Blitz it just means go for the 20, create a frenzy, just go crazy, sponsoring 20 until you get your 20, then you stop. Once you've got that 20, then you stop and help, you teach, and you anchor a leg. Okay, that's real important on that aspect of it. But making sure to blitz it and then stop and start doing the things, help, teach, and anchor. Anchoring legs by looking where to work. You've got your sponsored of 20. You've got 2 weeks intensive care with them. Then you're going to anchor 4 levels deep. Okay, so here's a good scenario. A, those are the people you sponsor. B, those are the people they sponsor. So A sponsors B, B sponsors C, C sponsors D. Once you have anchored down to the 4th level, you have won the anchoring battle, which is very, very important. If you look at this scenario over here, now you might sponsor these 2 people, okay? And this one doesn't do a whole lot, but maybe this one does on that 2nd level. So then you're going to anchor that person. So how are you going to anchor it? You're going to go 4 levels deep. And you're not going to stop until you've gotten 4 levels anchored in, so that guarantees you an income. Understand, if you build it right, the money will come. Thank you for listening. Go on to the last session of the series.